Hello, everyone, and welcome back to English in Fluency. I am your host, Alex, and I am so excited to have you here with me today for a very special session. Imagine this situation. You are standing in a coffee shop, or maybe you are waiting for a bus. Someone friendly turns to you and asks a simple question. They might say something like, "Beautiful day, isn't it?" Or maybe, "Do you know what time the bus comes?" You understand the question perfectly. Your brain knows exactly what they said. But then, something frustrating happens. You freeze. You open your mouth to speak, but the words do not come out immediately. You feel a silence growing between you and the other person. Your mind starts racing. You are trying to translate your answer from your native language into English. You are checking your grammar. You are worrying about your pronunciation. By the time you finally say, "Yes, it is very nice," the moment has passed. The other person has already looked away or checked their phone. That awkward silence makes you feel less confident. It makes you feel like your English is not good enough, even though you know the vocabulary. If this sounds familiar to you, I want you to take a deep breath and relax. You are not alone. This is one of the most common challenges for English learners at the B1 intermediate level. It is called the reaction gap. The problem is not your vocabulary. The problem is not your grammar. The problem is your reaction speed. Today, we are going to fix that. In this deep listening session, we are going to train your brain to stop translating and start reacting. We are going to practice natural reaction skills that native speakers use every single day. We will learn how to fill that silence, how to keep the conversation flowing, and how to feel confident in any situation. By the end of this audio, you will be able to respond faster, without thinking too hard. So, if you are ready to transform your English fluency, settle in, get comfortable, and let's begin this journey together. To understand how to react faster, we first need to look at a story. I want to introduce you to a character named Leo. Leo is a smart guy. He has been studying English for 3 years. He reads books in English, and he understands almost everything he hears in movies. But Leo has a secret fear. He is afraid of small talk. He recently moved to a new city where everyone speaks English. One morning, Leo is in the elevator in his apartment building. The doors open, and a neighbor walks in. Her name is Sarah. Sarah smiles at Leo and says, "Wow, the traffic was terrible this morning, wasn't it?" Leo wants to agree. He wants to say, "Yes, I saw the news. It looked really bad." But his brain goes into work mode. First, he translates Sarah's sentence. Then he thinks about the past tense of see. Is it saw or seen? Then he worries if traffic is a countable or uncountable noun. While he is doing all this work in his head, 3 seconds pass. In a conversation, 3 seconds is a very long time. Sarah thinks Leo did not hear her, or maybe that he is not friendly. Just as Leo is ready to speak, the elevator doors open, and Sarah walks out, saying, "Have a nice day." Leo is left standing there, feeling frustrated. He missed his chance to connect. This is exactly what we need to change. We need to move from the slow path of translation to the fast path of reaction. When a native speaker hears, "The traffic was terrible," they do not analyze the grammar. They just react to the feeling. They might say, "Oh, really?" or "That is awful." They respond to the emotion, not just the words. Today, we are going to practice specific techniques to help you do this. We will start with the first technique right now. It is called the safety phrase. A safety phrase is a short, simple expression that you can use in almost any situation. It buys you time. It shows the other person you are listening. And most importantly, it breaks the silence immediately. You do not need to build a complex sentence. You just need to make a sound that connects you to the speaker. Let's look at some examples of safety phrases that you can use when you agree with someone. These are words like exactly, totally, or I know, right? Let's go back to Leo in the elevator. Imagine the scene again. Sarah walks in and says, "The traffic was terrible this morning, wasn't it?" Instead of trying to build a perfect sentence about the news and the past tense, Leo can simply use a safety phrase. He can smile and say, "Totally." That one word changes everything. It tells Sarah that he agrees. It tells her he is friendly. And it keeps the energy of the conversation moving. It is fast. It is natural. And it requires zero grammar. Now, I want you to practice this with me. I am going to be Sarah. I will say a sentence. I want you to respond immediately with the word, totally. Do not think about it. Just say it. Ready? Here we go. It is so hot outside today. Totally. Good. Let's try another one. This coffee is really delicious. Totally. Excellent. One more. The weekend went by so fast. Totally. Did you feel how easy that was? You did not have to conjugate a verb. You did not have to worry about word order. You just reacted. This is the first step to responding faster. You need to have a few of these automatic reactions ready in your pocket. Let's try another safety phrase. This one is for when you hear surprising or bad news. The phrase is, "Oh no, really?" This is perfect for showing empathy. Let's imagine another situation. Leo is at work. His colleague, Mike, comes to his desk. Mike looks tired. Mike says, "My car broke down on the way to work." Now, Leo could try to make a complex sentence like, "I am very sorry to hear about the mechanical failure of your vehicle," but that sounds like a textbook. It does not sound like a friend, and it takes too long to construct. Instead, Leo should use the safety phrase. Mike says, "My car broke down." Leo immediately says, "Oh no, really?" This is fast. It is emotional. It connects them. Let's practice this together. I will be Mike. I will give you some bad news. You respond immediately with, "Oh no, really?" Try to put some feeling into your voice. Ready? I lost my wallet yesterday. Oh no, really? Good. Next one. I have a terrible headache. Oh no, really? And one more. The meeting was canceled. Oh no, really? Great job. You are already responding faster. You are training your brain to bypass the translation process. Now, let's go a little deeper. Sometimes you want to say more than just one or two words. You want to give a real answer, but you still need to be fast. This brings us to our second technique. I call this the mirror method. The mirror method is a very powerful trick. When someone asks you a question, the grammar you need for the answer is usually already hidden inside the question. You do not need to invent new grammar. You just need to mirror or reflect what you heard. Let me explain. If someone asks, "Are you going to the party?" Listen to the first words. Are you? The grammar is the verb to be, so your answer should mirror that. Yes, I am. If they ask, "Can you swim?" Listen to the word can. Your answer mirrors it. Yes, I can. If they ask, "Did you see it?" Listen to the word did. Your answer is, "Yes, I did." Many students get confused because they try to think of the answer from scratch. They hear, "Did you see the movie?" And they think, "Okay, I went to the cinema. Seeing is the verb. Past tense is saw. So yes, I saw it." That is too much thinking. Just listen for the helper verb. Did. Answer with did. Did you see it? Yes, I did. Or, no, I didn't. This is the secret to automatic speed. Let's practice the mirror method with a new character. Her name is Maya. Maya is at a dinner party. She is nervous because everyone is speaking English very quickly. A man named David sits next to her. David asks, "Have you lived here long?" Maya panics for a second. She thinks, live, living, lived. Present, perfect, continuous. But then she remembers the mirror method. She listens to the first word David said. Have. Have you lived here long? She mirrors it back. Yes, I have. It is instant. It is correct. It is natural. I want you to try this with me now. I am going to ask you some rapid-fire questions. I want you to listen for the helper verb at the start of the question and use it in your answer. We will keep the answers positive for now. Just say yes and use the mirror word. Ready? Here is the first one. Can you drive? Yes, I can. Good. Next one. Are you tired? Yes, I am. Listen carefully to this one. Will you be there? Yes, I will. And this one. Should we go? Yes, we should. Do you see how much faster that is? You stop thinking about grammar rules and you start using your ears. Your ears are your best tool for speed. When you really listen to the structure of the question, the answer is given to you. You just have to catch it and throw it back. Let's advance this technique. Sometimes the question does not start with a helper verb. Sometimes it starts with a question word like who, what, where, or when. In these cases, you cannot just say yes or no. You need to provide information, but you can still be fast if you keep your answer short. We often think we need to speak in full sentences. We were taught in school that if someone asks, "Where are you going?" we must say, "I am going to the supermarket." But in real, fast conversation, native speakers do not do that. It is too slow. If I ask a native speaker, "Where are you going?" they will just say, "To the supermarket." Or even shorter, "The supermarket." This is called the shortcut. To respond faster, you need to give yourself permission to use short answers. It is not rude. It is efficient. It is how conversations actually work. Let's look at our friend Leo again. He is getting better. He is feeling more confident. He is at the gym. A woman named Tina asks him, "What time do you usually finish?" Leo could say, "I usually finish my workout at 7 o'clock." But that takes effort. Instead, he uses the shortcut. He just says, "Around 7." It is clear. It is fast. It allows the conversation to bounce back and forth like a tennis ball. Let's practice the shortcut. I will ask you some questions. I want you to answer with just 1 or 2 words. Do not give me a full sentence. Pretend we are friends chatting quickly. Ready? Where did you buy that shirt? The mall. Good. Who is your best friend? John. When do you wake up? At 6. Why are you learning English? For work. See how dynamic that feels? When you cut the extra words, you remove the pressure. You do not have to worry about sentence structure because there is no sentence. There is just the answer. This frees up your brain to focus on listening and connecting with the other person. Now, let's combine everything we have learned so far into a real conversation simulation. We are going to put you into a scenario. Imagine you are at a train station. You are waiting for a train to the city center. A tourist approaches you. He looks a bit confused. His name is Marco. I will play the part of Marco. I will speak to you, and I want you to respond using the techniques we practiced. Use safety phrases like totally or oh really. Use the mirror method and use the shortcut. Do not overthink it. Just react. Excuse me, Is this the platform for the city center? You should respond with a mirror answer. Yes, it is. That is right. Marco continues. Oh, good. I was worried I was in the wrong place. The trains are very confusing here, aren't they? Now use a safety phrase. Totally. Marco smiles. I have been waiting for 20 minutes. It is a long time. React to this. Oh no, really? Marco asks. Do you know when the next one comes? Use the shortcut. In 5 minutes. Marco says, Great, thank you. Can I sit here? Mirror him. Yes, you can. Excellent work. Visualize how that felt. You had a full conversation with a stranger. You helped him. You were friendly, and you did not get stuck translating in your head. You used the tools, safety phrase, mirror method, shortcut. These tools are like a bridge. They help you cross the gap between understanding and speaking. But there is another layer to responding faster. It is not just about words. It is about your physical reaction. It is about your body language and your voice. Sometimes, even if you do not have the words yet, you can respond with a sound. Native speakers use sounds all the time to show they are listening. Sounds like ah, oh, and wow. These are called fillers, but I prefer to call them active listening sounds. When you use an active listening sound immediately after someone speaks, you buy yourself another second or two to find your words. But more importantly, you validate the other speaker. You show them that their words had an impact on you. Let's imagine Maya is back at the dinner party. David is telling a story. He says, I went hiking last weekend and I saw a bear. Now, Maya might not know the word for bear immediately, or she might be surprised. Instead of silence, she should make a sound. She should say, wow, or whoa. That sound is an instant reaction. It fills the air. It keeps the energy high. Let's practice using sounds. I am going to tell you some short statements. I want you to react with a sound. If it is interesting, say, If it is surprising, say, wow. If it is sad, say, aw. Ready? Here we go. I found $50 on the street. Wow. I lost my favorite pen. Aw. I think it is going to rain tomorrow. My sister just got married. Wow. These sounds are universal. You already know them. You just need to remember to use them in English. They are the oil that makes the machine of conversation run smoothly. When you combine a sound with a safety phrase, you become a master of reaction. For example, if someone says, I worked for 12 hours yesterday, you can say, wow, really? That is a very strong, very fast response. Now, I want to address a common worry. Many of my students tell me, Alex, I am afraid that if I speak too fast, I will make mistakes. They think that pausing helps them be correct. And to a certain extent, accuracy is important. But in casual conversation, connection is more important than perfection. If you pause for 5 seconds to get the grammar perfect, you lose the connection. If you make a small grammar mistake, but you respond instantly with a smile, you keep the connection. People forgive grammar mistakes. They do not enjoy awkward silences. So, I want you to change your goal. Your goal is not perfect grammar. Your goal is rhythm. Conversation is like music. It has a beat. Da, 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 da. If you break the beat, the song stops. We want to keep the song going. To do this, you need to practice responding even when you are not 100% sure. You need to trust your intuition. Your brain has heard thousands of hours of English. It knows more than you think. When you stop analyzing and start trusting, the words often come out correctly on their own. Let's try an exercise to build this trust. It is called the association game. I am going to say a word. I want you to say the first English word that pops into your head. Do not judge it. Do not translate it. Just say it. If I say apple, you might say red or fruit. It does not matter. The goal is speed. The goal is to bypass the filter in your brain. Ready? Let's start. Sun. Hot? Yellow? Good. Car. Fast? Drive? Good. Book? Read? School? Excellent. Happy. Smile? Good. Weekend? Sleep? Fun? This exercise wakes up your English brain. It forces you to access your vocabulary storage directly without going through your native language. Do this exercise by yourself. Look around your room. See a lamp? Say lamp. See a chair? Say sit. Train your brain to label the world in English instantly. This builds the pathways that allow for faster conversation responses. As we continue deeper into this training, we need to talk about what happens when you really do not understand. Sometimes you cannot respond because you simply didn't catch what the person said. This is a major cause of the freeze. You panic. You think, oh no, I missed it. What do I do? Do I just smile and nod? That can be dangerous. If they asked you a question and you just smile, it gets weird. The key to handling this quickly is to have automatic repair phrases ready. A repair phrase is a pre-memorized chunk of language that you use when communication breaks down. You should not have to think about how to construct these sentences. They should be like a reflex. Common repair phrases are, sorry, catch that, or simply, say again, or one more time. Notice that these are short. A formal student might say, I beg your pardon, could you please repeat that sentence? That is polite, but it is slow. It stops the rhythm. In a fast chat, a quick sorry with a rising intonation is much better. It signals to the other person to repeat, but it keeps the beat of the conversation. Let's go back to our friend Leo. He is at a loud cafe. The barista asks him something, but the coffee machine is making a loud noise. Leo hears, do you want? Mumble, mumble. With that, Leo does not freeze. He leans in and says, sorry, one more time? The barista repeats, do you want cream with that? Leo uses the shortcut. No thanks. The interaction is smooth. Leo did not panic because he had his repair phrase ready. I want you to practice this. I am going to say a sentence, but I will mumble part of it. When I do, I want you to immediately say, sorry. Say again. Ready? I am going to the mumble. Tomorrow. Sorry. Say again. Good. I really like mumble on my pizza. Sorry. Say again. The time is mumble. O'clock. Sorry. Say again. Perfect. Having this tool reduces anxiety. You know that if you miss a word, you can fix it instantly. You do not have to be perfect. You just have to be present. We have covered a lot of ground so far. We have talked about the psychological gap that causes silence. We have learned about safety phrases like totally and oh, really. We have practiced the mirror method, using the grammar of the question to build our answer. We have embraced the shortcut, giving one or two word answers. We have added active listening sounds. And we have prepared our repair phrases. All of these techniques are about one thing: removing the friction. When you remove the friction of grammar checking and translation, you slide into the conversation naturally. You begin to enjoy speaking. And when you enjoy speaking, you speak more. And when you speak more, you become fluent. But we are not done yet. We have built the foundation. But now we need to look at what happens when the conversation gets a little longer. What happens when you are not just passing someone in an elevator, but sitting across from them at a dinner table? or standing in a circle of people at a party. This is where the pressure really builds up. This is where many B1 learners feel the most anxiety. You might feel like you are under a spotlight, and everyone is waiting for you to perform. In this next part of our training, we are going to tackle that pressure head-on. We are going to learn how to keep a conversation going without doing all the work. We are going to learn how to buy yourself time to think without creating awkward silence. And we are going to learn a storytelling technique that will allow you to share your experiences without getting tangled in complex grammar webs. We are moving from simple reactions to sustaining a flow. Let's start with a technique that I call the question boomerang. Imagine a boomerang. You throw it, and it comes back to you. In conversation, the boomerang is the focus. When someone asks you a question, the spotlight is on you. If you keep the spotlight for too long, you might get nervous. The question boomerang is a way to answer quickly and then immediately throw the spotlight back to the other person. This takes the pressure off you, and it makes the other person feel good because people love talking about themselves. Here is how it works. Someone asks you a question. You answer using the shortcut or the mirror method we learned, and then you immediately add a simple tag question like, "How about you?" or "And you?" or "What do you think?" This turns a dead-end answer into a continuous loop. Let's look at an example. Imagine you are at a coffee break at work. A colleague named Lisa asks, "Do you have any plans for the weekend?" The old way of reacting might be to panic and try to list everything you are doing. "I am going to the supermarket, and then I might visit my mother." You struggle to find the words. The boomerang way is different. You give a short answer and throw it back. You say, "Not much, just relaxing. How about you?" Lisa then starts talking about her plans. "Oh, I am going hiking." Now you are listening again. You have successfully passed the ball. You have relieved the pressure. You are safe. Let's practice the question boomerang. I am going to ask you a question. I want you to give a very short answer, maybe just 2 or 3 words, and then immediately ask, "How about you?" Say it out loud. "How about you?" Get used to that rhythm. Answer, then boomerang. Ready? Here is the first question. "Do you like spicy food?" "Yes, I do." "How about you?" "Good." See how fast that was? Let's try another. "Have you seen the new Marvel movie?" "No, I haven't." "How about you?" "Excellent." One more. "Are you tired today?" "A little bit." "How about you?" This technique is a lifesaver. It allows you to participate in a conversation even when your energy is low or your vocabulary is feeling stuck. It creates a rhythm of give and take. You do not have to carry the whole weight of the conversation on your shoulders. You just have to tap the ball back across the net. Now, let's move to a slightly more advanced situation. Sometimes you cannot just throw the question back. Sometimes you actually have to give a thoughtful answer. Maybe someone asks you for your opinion, or they ask a difficult question that requires some thinking time. The problem is that B1 learners often think in silence. When you are thinking in silence, your face often looks worried or confused. The other person might think you do not understand. We need to replace that silence with what I call the stall strategy. The stall strategy involves using filler phrases that native speakers use constantly. These are phrases that mean absolutely nothing, but they signal to the listener, "I am thinking, please wait. I am still holding the floor." These phrases are, "Well, you know, let me see," That is a good question. And actually, when you use a stall strategy, you buy yourself 3 to 5 seconds of thinking time. But to the listener, it does not feel like waiting. It feels like natural fluency. Let's compare. Imagine I ask, what is your favorite memory from childhood? Scenario A. You stare at me for 5 seconds of silence while you search your brain. It feels awkward. Scenario B. You look at me, smile, and say, that is a good question. Let me think. Well, I remember. In scenario B, you haven't actually said anything of substance yet, but you have responded. You reacted instantly with the stall strategy. You sounded fluent. Let's practice this. I am going to ask you some slightly difficult questions. Questions that you probably don't have an immediate answer for. I want you to start your response immediately with a stall phrase. Do not answer the question yet. Just use the phrase. Use, let me see, or, that's a good question. Ready? Here is the question. What is the biggest problem in the world today? That is a good question. Great. You bought yourself time. Next one. Where do you see yourself in 10 years? Let me see. Good. One more. Why do you think learning English is difficult? Well, you know. Did you feel the difference? The anxiety drops because you have a ready-made way to start. You never have to fear the blank page of silence. You always have a starter. It is like having a key that opens the door. Once the door is open, it is easier to walk through. Now, I want to tell you a story about a student of mine named Ken. Ken was very shy. He was invited to a barbecue with his wife's colleagues. They were all native English speakers. Ken was terrified. He told me, "Alex, I am just going to sit in the corner and eat a burger. I can't speak fast enough." I told Ken, "No, you are going to use the boomerang and the stall." So Ken went to the barbecue. A man named Steve came up to him holding a beer. Steve said, "Hey, Ken, long time no see. How is work treating you?" Ken's brain froze. He didn't know how to explain his new project, but he remembered the stall. He took a sip of his drink and said, "Well, you know, it is busy." Then he remembered the boomerang. He said, "How about you? How is work?" Steve immediately started talking about his boss and his crazy schedule. Ken just nodded and used his safety phrases like, "Oh, really?" and "totally." Then Steve asked a harder question. "What do you think of the new office location?" Ken didn't have a strong opinion. He used the stall. Let me see. To be honest, it is okay." Steve accepted this answer and kept talking. Ken realized something amazing. He was having a conversation. He wasn't speaking perfect paragraphs. He wasn't using advanced vocabulary. But he was reacting. He was present. By the end of the night, people told his wife, "Ken is such a nice guy. He is so easy to talk to." Ken didn't say much, but he reacted well. That is the power of these skills. Let's build on Ken's success. Ken used a phrase, "to be honest." This leads us to our next technique, the opinion gambit. In B1 level conversations, people often ask for your thoughts. Do you like this song? What do you think of this food? Do you agree? Starting an opinion sentence can be hard because we often translate "I think that" from our native language. To respond faster, you need to have opinion gambits ready to fire. These are strong openers that launch you into your sentence. Phrases like, "to be honest," "personally, I think," "if you ask me," and "I reckon," which is very common in the UK and Australia. When you use an opinion gambit, you do two things. First, you signal that an opinion is coming. Second, you give your brain a runway to take off. You say, personally, I think. And while you are saying those three words, your brain is finding the adjective you need, like good or bad. Let's practice using "to be honest." It is a great phrase because it makes you sound sincere and authentic. I will ask for your opinion. You start your answer with "to be honest," and then finish with a simple feeling. Question: do you like waking up early? Response: to be honest, I hate it. Question: do you think English is easy? Response: to be honest, it is hard. Question: do you like this weather? Response: to be honest, I love it. Now let's try "if you ask me." This makes you sound very confident. Question: who is the best football player? Response: if you ask me, it is Messi. Question: what is the best food? Response: if you ask me, it is pizza. By having these chunks of language ready, you reduce the cognitive load. You are not building sentences brick by brick. You are using prefabricated walls. It is much faster to build a house with walls than with single bricks. We have talked about short answers and opinions, but what if you want to tell a story? What if you want to tell someone about your weekend or your holiday? This is where many students get stuck. They try to tell the story in a complex way. Last weekend, which was very sunny, I went to the beach where I met my friend who has a dog. They get lost in the relative clauses. They lose their grammar. They panic. To respond faster and more naturally, you need to use the linear linking technique. This means you tell your story in short, simple steps, connected by simple words like and, but, so, and then. Do not try to make one long, beautiful sentence. Make 5 short, ugly sentences. It is actually better for the listener. Spoken English is not like written English. It is chopped up. Let's look at an example. You want to say you missed the bus and were late for work. Don't say, because I woke up late due to my alarm not going off. I missed the bus, which caused me to be late. That is too hard to construct fast. Do say, my alarm didn't ring, so I woke up late. And I missed the bus, so I was late for work. Notice the structure? Fact, link, fact, link, fact. It is like walking upstairs, one step at a time. It is much faster to speak this way because you only have to plan one short sentence at a time. Let's practice linear linking. I am going to give you a topic. Your morning. I want you to tell me 3 things you did this morning, connected by and or then. Don't overthink. Just 3 facts. Example: I woke up. Then I drank coffee. And I brushed my teeth. Now you try. Imagine your morning. Go. Did you do it? Did you keep it simple? I ate breakfast. Then I took a shower. And I got dressed. This is how native speakers tell stories in casual conversation. We rely heavily on and then, and then, and then. It gives the story a sense of forward motion. It prevents you from getting stuck in a grammar hole. Now, let us combine all of these new skills into a challenging simulation. We are going to a dinner party. You are sitting at a table with 3 other people, Tom, Elena, and Mark. They are chatting excitedly. I will play all the roles. You are the guest. You need to use your boomerangs, your stalls, your opinion gambits, and your linear linking. Ready? Imagine the noise of plates and glasses. The atmosphere is warm. Tom turns to you and says, "Hey, this pasta is delicious, isn't it?" Use a safety phrase. "Totally." Elena looks at you. "So, have you traveled much this year?" Give a short answer and use a boomerang. "Not really, just work trips. How about you?" Elena says, "Oh, I went to Italy. It was amazing." React with a sound. "Wow." Mark jumps in. I think traveling is getting too expensive. What do you think? Use an opinion gambit. To be honest, I agree. It is very pricey. Tom asks a harder question. If you could go anywhere in the world right now, where would you go? Use a stall strategy first. That is a good question. Let me see. Now, give a simple answer. Maybe Japan, Elena asks. Why Japan? Use the linear linking. Give two simple reasons connected by and. I love the food, and I want to see Tokyo. Take a deep breath. How did that feel? You just navigated a multi-person conversation. You didn't dominate the talk, but you were an active part of it. You were fluent. Fluency is not about knowing every word in the dictionary. Fluency is about flow, and you kept the flow going. There is one more tricky situation we need to cover in this section. It is the dreaded why question. When someone asks why, B1 learners often freeze because they feel they need to give a logical, complex justification. Why do you like this movie? Why did you move to this city? The key to reacting faster to why is the because reflex. You must train yourself to start your sentence with because immediately, even if you don't know the reason yet. Question: why do you like him? Response: because. Pause for a microsecond. He is funny. Saying the word because buys you time. It also signals to your brain that a reason is required. It forces you to focus. Sometimes, if you don't have a reason, you can use the I don't know gambit, but make it sound native. Don't just say, I don't know. Say, I'm not sure, actually. I just do. Or, good question, I have no idea. These are valid, fast responses. You do not always need a logical reason for your feelings. Let's practice the because reflex. I will ask why. You immediately say because, and then add a simple adjective or fact. Why do you learn English? Because it is useful. Why are you tired? Because I worked hard. Why do you like summer? Because it is warm. Why did you buy that phone? Because it was cheap. Simple. Direct. Fast. You are cutting out the mental translation of, the reason why I bought this phone is, that is too slow. Because it was cheap is instant. We are building a massive toolkit of speed here. We have safety phrases, the mirror method, the shortcut, the question boomerang, the stall strategy, opinion gambits, linear linking, and the because reflex. When you have these tools, your anxiety begins to fade. Anxiety comes from the unknown. It comes from thinking, what if I get stuck? But now, you have a tool for getting stuck. If you get stuck, you use a stall. If you run out of words, you use a boomerang. You have a plan B, a plan C, and a plan D. This knowledge allows your body to relax. And speaking of the body, I want to address the physical side of reacting faster. When we are nervous, our muscles tense up. Our jaw gets tight. Our breathing gets shallow. This physical tension slows down your speaking mechanism. It blocks the connection between your brain and your mouth. To respond faster, you need to be physically loose. Before you go into a conversation, or even right now as you listen, I want you to drop your shoulders. Let them fall. Unclench your jaw. Take a deep breath into your belly. When you are physically relaxed, the words flow more easily. Think of a runner. A sprinter does not run with tight, stiff muscles. They are loose. They are ready to explode into motion. Conversation is the same. You need to be loose to be fast. In the next moments of this session, I want to talk about shadowing for speed. Shadowing is a technique where you repeat after a native speaker. But for reaction skills, we don't just want to repeat words. we want to repeat the speed of the reaction. When you watch a movie or a TV show in English, watch how the characters react. If one character says, "I love you," and the other says, "Me too," notice how fast the "me too" comes out. It is almost on top of the other person's words. Try to copy that timing, even if you are alone in your room. If the TV character says, "Hello," you say, "Hi," immediately. Do not wait. Train your reflex speed with the TV. It is a safe environment. No one can hear you. But your brain is learning the rhythm of input-output. Let's try a quick audio shadow exercise right now. I will say a phrase. You repeat it immediately, as fast as you can. Do not worry about pronunciation perfection. Worry about speed. Match my energy. No way. You say, "No way." Come on. You say, "Come on." That is crazy. You say, "That is crazy." I don't believe it. You say, "I don't believe it." Let's go. You say, "Let's go." Good. That energy, that snap, is what we are looking for. It wakes up your articulators. It gets your mouth moving before your doubt can stop you. You are doing fantastic work. We have moved from basic reactions to managing full conversations. You are learning to navigate the dinner party, the office chat, and the casual meetup. But there is one final frontier we must cross. In this last section of our deep dive, we are going to deal with the most delicate parts of conversation. How to enter a conversation that is already happening. How to fix a mistake without apologizing too much. And perhaps most importantly, how to end a conversation with confidence. We will also put everything together in a final grand simulation that will test all your new reflexes. This is the graduation ceremony of our training. So, take a deep breath, reset your focus, and let's finish this journey strong. Let's talk about a situation that scares almost every B1 learner. You are in a group. Maybe it is a lunch break at work or a social gathering. 2 or 3 other people are talking excitedly. You are standing there, listening. You have an idea. You want to say something. But the conversation is moving so fast. You wait for a silence, but the silence never comes. You feel invisible. You think, if I interrupt, I will be rude. So you stay silent. And then the topic changes, and your idea is lost forever. This is a tragedy. Your voice deserves to be heard. The secret to breaking into a conversation is not to wait for a perfect silence. It is to create a bridge. We call this technique the soft interruption. In English, there are specific phrases designed to cut into a conversation politely. They signal to the other speakers, "I have something to add. Please let me in." You need to say these phrases slightly louder than your normal speaking voice. You need to project. The best phrase for this is, "Speaking of that." This phrase connects what they are saying to what you want to say. It shows you are listening, but it grabs the microphone. Another great one is, "Can I just add something?" Or even shorter. Actually, I think, let's imagine our friend Leo again. He is at a conference. 2 people are arguing about which phone is better, iPhone or Android. Leo loves technology. He wants to join in. Person A says, "The camera on the iPhone is the best." Person B says, "No way, the Android Zoom is better." Leo sees an opening. He doesn't wait for them to stop. He leans forward and says, "Speaking of cameras, have you seen the new update?" Boom! He is in. The phrase, "speaking of," acted like a key. It opened the door. The other 2 stop and look at him. Now Leo uses his linear linking. "I downloaded it yesterday, and it is amazing." He is now leading the conversation. Let's practice the soft interruption. I am going to talk continuously about a topic. I want you to wait for a moment, and then interrupt me loud and clear. Use the phrase, "Can I add something?" or, "Speaking of that." I will keep talking. You have to be brave and cut me off. Ready? I am talking about pizza. I really love pizza because the cheese is so good, and the tomato sauce is important, but the crust is the best part because it is crunchy and… You say, "Can I add something?" Did you do it? Did you feel a little resistance in your chest? That is normal. It feels rude in some cultures, but in English-speaking cultures, it is often seen as enthusiasm. Let's try again. I will talk about movies. I saw this action movie last night, and the explosions were loud, but the acting was a bit boring, although the music was fantastic, and… You say, "Speaking of that." Excellent. You have to push the door open. It will not open for you. Now, let's move to another source of anxiety. The fear of mistakes. What happens when you are speaking fast, reacting naturally, and suddenly you say the wrong word? You say he instead of she. You say go instead of went. The natural reaction for a learner is to stop, freeze, and say, "Oh, sorry. My English is bad. I made a mistake." Please, I beg you, stop doing this. When you apologize for your English, you destroy your authority. You make the other person feel awkward. They have to comfort you. They have to say, No, your English is fine." The conversation stops being about the topic and starts being about your language skills. We do not want that. Instead, I want you to use the quick fix. If you make a small mistake, ignore it. Native speakers make grammar mistakes all the time. If you say, "Yesterday I go to the store," everyone understands you. Just keep going. Speed is more important than perfection. If you make a big mistake that changes the meaning, correct it instantly using the word "I mean." I didn't like the food. I didn't like the service. He is my sister. My brother. The phrase "I mean" acts like an eraser. It deletes the last thing you said and lets you try again. It is fast, it is professional, and it requires no apology. Let's practice the quick fix. I am going to give you a sentence with a mistake. I want you to repeat the sentence and then correct it immediately using "I mean." Example: I live in Paris. London. Ready? I have 2 dogs. Cats. Go. She is my husband. Wife. Go. I arrived at 8. 9. Go. Notice how powerful that is? You are not saying, "Sorry." You are taking control. You are saying, "Oops, wrong word. Here is the right word. Let's move on." This projects confidence. It tells the listener, I am a competent speaker. I just slipped. Now we arrive at a critical skill that is often ignored: the exit strategy. Many conversations become awkward simply because they go on too long. You run out of things to say. The other person runs out of things to say. You both stand there in silence. You want to leave, but you don't know how to be polite. You feel trapped. Knowing how to leave a conversation gives you the confidence to start one. If you know where the emergency exit is, you feel safer in the building. To end a conversation gracefully, you need a reason and a closing. You cannot just say, "Goodbye." That is too abrupt. You need a pre-manufactured excuse. I should get going. I have a meeting. I have to run. My bus is coming. It has been great chatting, but I need to find my friend. I won't keep you any longer. This last one is very polite. Let's go back to our new friend, Ken. Ken is at the barbecue. He has been talking to Steve for 10 minutes. They have used up all their topics. A silence falls. Ken feels the panic rising, but Ken knows the exit strategy. He looks at his empty glass. He smiles at Steve. He says, "Well, it was great catching up with you, Steve. I am going to go grab another drink." Steve smiles back. "Sure, Ken. See you later." Ken walks away feeling like a winner. He ended it on a high note. He didn't wait for the awkward silence to destroy the moment. Let's practice your exit strategy. I am going to be the person talking to you. I am rambling on and on. I want you to wait for a tiny pause. Use the signal word anyway. Give a reason and say goodbye. The word anyway is the universal signal for I am changing the subject or leaving. So the formula is anyway plus reason plus bye. I am talking. And so that is why I really like collecting stamps. It is just so interesting to look at the little pictures. You say, "Anyway, I should get going. Have a nice day." Let's try another one. "And my cat is so funny. Yesterday she slept for like 16 hours. You say, "Anyway, I have to run. Great talking to you." Feel the freedom? You are the captain of the ship. You decide when to dock the ship and get off. You are not a prisoner of the conversation. Now, we are ready. We have covered every single aspect of natural reaction. We have the opener, the middle flow, the interruption, the correction, and the exit. It is time for the grand simulation. I want you to close your eyes for a moment if you can. Visualize yourself. You are walking in a park on a beautiful Saturday afternoon. The sun is shining. People are walking dogs. You feel relaxed. You feel confident. Suddenly, you see an old acquaintance sitting on a bench. It is someone you met in an English class a year ago. Her name is Maria. She sees you and waves. "Hey, is that you?" she calls out. You walk over. "Now, I will play Maria. You play yourself. I will guide you through the interaction, but you must speak out loud. Use every tool we have learned." Phase 1. The greeting and safety phrase. Maria says, "Wow, it has been such a long time. You look great." React instantly. Use a safety phrase or a simple thank you. You say, "Thanks. Totally. It has been a long time." Maria says, "I haven't seen you since the class ended. How have you been?" Use the shortcut and boomerang. You say, "Pretty good. Busy working. How about you?" Phase 2. The flow installs. Maria says, "Oh, I have been great. I actually moved to a new apartment downtown." React with a sound and a follow-up question or just a safety phrase. You say, "Wow, really? That is cool." Maria asks, "Do you still live in the same place?" Use the mirror method. You say, "Yes, I do." Maria asks a harder question. "I was thinking about studying Spanish next. What do you think? Is it a good idea?" Use a stall strategy and then an opinion gambit. You say, that is a good question. To be honest, I think it is a great idea." Phase 3. The story and interruption. Maria starts talking fast. "Because I want to travel to South America next year, and I heard the food is amazing, and the people are friendly, but I am worried about the cost." Interrupt her politely to agree or add something. Use speaking of. You say, "Speaking of travel, South America is beautiful." Maria stops and smiles. "Have you been?" Use linear linking. Fact plus link plus fact. You say, "No, I haven't, but my brother went, and he loved it." Phase 4. The mistake and correction. Maria asks, "What does your brother do?" You want to say he is a doctor, but imagine you accidentally say dentist. Correct it with, "I mean." You say, "He is a dentist. I mean, a doctor." Maria says, "Oh, nice." Phase 5. The exit. The conversation starts to slow down. You need to meet someone else. Use the exit strategy. Anyway, plus reason, plus bye. You say, anyway, I should get going. I have to meet a friend. It was so nice to see you. Maria says, you too. Let's keep in touch. Bye. You say, bye? Open your eyes. You did it. You just navigated a complete complex social interaction in English. You didn't memorize a script. You used reflexes. You used tools. This is what fluency feels like. It doesn't feel like searching for words in a dictionary. It feels like playing a game where you know the rules and you have the skills to win. I want to talk to you about the English identity. Many of you think of yourselves as students. A student is someone who is learning, who makes mistakes, who is below the teacher. I want you to kill the student. I want you to be a speaker. A speaker is someone who uses the language to connect. A speaker makes mistakes, but doesn't care. A speaker pauses, but fills the silence. A speaker owns their voice. When you go out into the world tomorrow, do not say, I am practicing English. Say, I am speaking English. The difference is in your mind. When you use the safety phrase totally, you are a speaker. When you use the stall, let me see, you are a speaker. When you say, I mean to fix a mistake, you are a speaker. This change in mindset is just as important as the vocabulary. It is the fuel that powers the engine. You have to believe that you have the right to speak, even if your grammar is B1 level. B1 is enough to communicate. B1 is enough to make friends. B1 is enough to travel. Do not wait until you are C2 to start living in English. Start living now. I recommend that you listen to this entire series multiple times. Repetition is the mother of skill. Listen to it in the car. Listen to it while you wash the dishes. Shadow the phrases. When I say totally, you say totally. When I say how about you, you say how about you. Train your muscles. Your mouth is a muscle. It needs to go to the gym. This audio is your gym. I also have a challenge for you. In the next 24 hours, I want you to have one conversation in English. It can be online, it can be with a friend, or it can be talking to yourself in the mirror. But I want you to consciously use 3 tools. 1 safety phrase, 1 boomerang question, and 1 exit strategy. Just 3 things. Do not worry about the rest. Focus on these 3. If you do this, you will prove to yourself that these techniques work in the real world. You will feel that rush of excitement when you see the other person nod and smile, because the conversation is flowing. We have come to the end of our session on responding faster and training natural reaction skills. We started with the frustration of the freeze. We ended with the confidence of the smooth exit. Remember Leo, Sarah, Mike, Maya, Ken, Steve, and Maria. They are all parts of you. You have the anxiety of Leo, but you also have the potential of his success. You have the shyness of Ken, but you have the ability to learn his tools. Thank you so much for trusting me with your time and your English journey. My name is Alex, and this has been a special deep dive production for English in Fluency. If this script has helped you, if you feel a little bit lighter, a little bit faster, and a little bit more ready to face the world, then please do yourself a favor. Hit that subscribe button. Join our community. Because we are not just learning a language here, we are unlocking your potential. There are many more topics we need to cover. We need to talk about pronunciation, about idioms, about deep listening. The journey is long, but it is beautiful, and I will be here with you every step of the way. Now, go out there, Stop translating. Start reacting. Stop doubting. Start speaking. The world is waiting to hear what you have to say. This is Alex, signing off. Take care, be brave, and keep speaking. Goodbye for now.